He was arrested 3 different times?
Yes.
And well, on that last time, was he kept in jail? Has he been in jail since then?
Since this last time, no,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Not when on this last one for April 23rd, 2023. I think he stayed like 3 days and he was released.
Okay, when I have 23-4-515 and 23-6027 motions to revoke probation in those cases. 23 CR 1109 is a new case,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Correct.
You were charged, you were on probation for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and illegal possession of a controlled substance. And then and that was all on February 7th, 2022. 10 years in prison, probated for 10 years. And then we're accused of public intoxication, driving while intoxicated, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. All of those are on different dates. Then tampering with physical evidence, which is on the same date as illegal possession of a firearm by a felon. All right, let's get to the bottom line on this. What is our plan?
Your Honor, it was an agreement of a cap of 7 years.
Yes, sir, Judge.
Okay, is that what it is?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, I'm just curious where we were headed on that. All right, does the defendant waive formal readings of the motions to revoke probation on 35415 and 36027 and the indictment in 1109? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
In summary, and you are Mr. Ozane, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. So lower your hand. In summary, the motion to revoke probation in both 35415 and 36027 similarly state that on February 7th, you were sentenced to 10 years in prison, probated for 10 years in this court for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle in 35415 and illegal possession of a controlled substance in 36027. Is that true?
Sure.
I'm just going to go on 3. Okay. Allegation 3 in each of these motions allege that you committed the offense of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon on or about April 23rd, 2023 in Jefferson County, Texas, which is what this new indictment alleges in 23 CR 1109. Do you understand what you are charged with?
Sure.
And is that allegation number 3 in these motion to revoke probations cases, is that allegation and number 3 in each case true and correct as it is alleged?
Yes.
And are you pleading true and correct to that voluntarily and because it is true?
Yes.
Do you understand by a knowing and voluntary plea accrued to a violation of probation, that is enough to grant the motion to revoke probation? Your probation could be revoked. You could be sentenced to no less than 2 up to 10 years in prison. Knowing that, do you insist on pleading true today?
Yes.
I find you were pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. There's an agreement that's been reached where you would be pleading guilty to this 23 CR 1109, this new case, and then sentenced to 7 years in prison. The motions to revoke probation would be granted. You would be revoked and sentenced to 7 years, up to 7 years in probation.
Yes, sir.
And those cases, so no less than 2 nor more than 7 years, and those cases would run concurrently. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Sure.
In each case? If I follow this agreement in each case, you have no right of appeal. Do you understand?
Sure.
And how do you plead in this 23 CR 1109? Guilty or not guilty? That new indictment charging you with
Yes.
on or about April 23rd, 2023, committing unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon,
Yes.
being previously convicted in 2008 in the 252nd District Court of illegal possession of a controlled substance. Are you guilty of that?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because you are guilty.
Yes.
This is a third-degree felony. You are facing by law a term of not more than 10 years or less than 2 years in prison, and a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. But there is an agreement that's reached that whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 7 years. So you're looking at no less than 2, no more than 7 years, deferred or unadjudicated probation, regular probation. Those sentences, whatever they are, will run concurrently with the other 2 cases on the motions to revoke probation. So you understand, you're looking at, if I follow these agreements, no less than 2 nor more than 7 years confinement in prison or continuance of probation in the probation cases as well. You have several options here.
Okay.
If I follow these agreements, you have no right of appeal of your cases. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Going to show you in each case what's marked as State's Exhibit 1. Did you sign those documents voluntarily?
Yes.
Understand them, discuss them with your attorney? Are the contents true and correct?
Correct.
State's Exhibit 1 tendered into evidence?
No objection.
Without objection admitted. This states you are mentally competent to enter your pleas, which are freely and voluntarily made. You know what you've been charged with. The indictment's been read to you. You've read them in each case, and the motions to revoke probation and the 2 motions to revoke probation cases. You know what you've been charged with. You were guilty of those allegations, number 3 in each case, which coincide with the new indictment 23-1109. The elements of that new indictment, you are pleading guilty and true to those allegations voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. You were giving up your rights to a jury trial and the right to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses, and totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All of this is true. It states, so help you God. Is that so?
Yes.
States Exhibit 1 is made a part of the record for all purposes. Without objection.
Without objection, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Do we want a pre-sentence report or move forward? You want me to play the Jeopardy theme?
Ms. Davis, the probation officer, is here. And basically
He certainly would probably be the person who would be able to fill in a pre-sentence report. She's here. What do y'all want to do? Ask her some questions, move forward, or call her to the stand? Or
we could do that, Judge, as an alternative to incarceration in the institutional division. Mr. Ozane would request the court leave him on probation on the cases he is on probation, place him on probation on the new case, and order him to have in-house treatment through the Burke Center, which is a medical in-house drug treatment. And I'm not familiar with that very much, and I'm not sure if Ms. Davis is. But that's the background that we're trying to convince the court would be in the best interest of society, is to use this alternative instead of incarceration.
anything, State?
Thanks, Your Honor. Just, yeah, and based on the defendant, he'd been given a chance on both these probations here and continued to commit offenses in there. State believes that we're asking for 7 years TDC. Based on that, he's already been given a chance and knew the potential consequences of that if he didn't follow the probation conditions and requirement.
One other thing, Judge.
Yes.
It's my understanding that Mr. Ozane has applied and already has a bed reserved at the Burke Center, as opposed to just having to wait with some of the other drug treatment programs that I'm aware of.
Okay. Remember how we were going to this new case that you pleaded guilty to here, which is the main reason that is the focus of the motions to revoke probation here. Anything you want to add? You don't have to say anything, Mr. Ozane, but anything you want to add about what happened that night? It looks like it's 8:38 in the morning when you were stopped.
Yes, sir. I was on my way to bring my cousin out the clothes out the trunk. And honestly, I didn't know it was in there until they popped the trunk and seen all the clothes in there. But like I said, I know I'm 8 years, so I was trying to bring him his clothes because I was on the wrong side of the street. Yes, I was. But it was just to drop out these clothes. I didn't even know it was in there, but it was too late. It was already in there. And when they popped the trunk and I seen it, I'm like, oh man. I just stood up and like put my hands behind my back. I wouldn't be riding around with no unauthorized use to carry a gun and I'm already know I'm on probation. You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't, but
So is that, would you say that that's really the crux of any violations would be surrounding this gun thing? This is what you failed to do on probation, is have that gun in the trunk?
yes.
Anything else?
Let's see.
What about the drugs that were on you? Yeah, of course, that's one of the violations of probation, and that's important. It says they patted you down and a baggie of marijuana was on you.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Did you forget to add that?
No, I
If you're
really,
being forthright with me, that's a crime.
no, I
and
really had forgot.
and that's a
about the
violation.
marijuana.
You forgot about it.
Yes,
Slipped your mind.
but we was talking about the gun. I ain't one thing about that.
Um, Probation, anything you would like to add, please, ma'am?
Well, the last time I seen Mr. Ozan, he stopped reporting after he picked up these new offenses. And the last time he reported to probation was February 2nd of 2023. So after that, it's like he was,
So he's been an absconder.
yes,
When was he put in, when was he arrested ultimately?
for which offense?
After the failure to, when he quit reporting, when did he ultimately become arrested?
Oh, it was on April 3rd of 2023 and April 13th, 2023 and April 23rd of 2023.
He was arrested 3 different times?
Yes,
And well, on that last time, was he kept in jail? Has he been in jail since then?
since this last time, no,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Not when on this last one for April 23rd, 2023. I think he stayed like 3 days and he was released.
Okay, when did he ultimately get into the orange jumpsuit he's wearing today?
March 14th.
When?
March 14th.
Of this year?
March 14th of this year.
But he was an absconder.
Yes,
Oh, did they catch him? Is that what happened? Or did he turn himself in?
no, he got, I'm not sure what happened on March 14th, how he got arrested.
That's kind of interesting. Anybody want to add what happened? Because he was on the lam for about a year. And how did he get arrested? Anybody?
I think it was in Chambers County or Montgomery County. He had got stopped and then they just extradited him to Jefferson County.
Okay, there was a warrant out for him.
Yes, sir,
For the, I
MTO.
guess, the new indictment as
And
well as the
yes.
motions. Is that right?
Yeah, I basically told my friend, I'm tired of running. I'm ready to just get this out the way.
Okay, so you quit reporting, you kind of walked off the job for a year, reporting? You just quit doing that?
I was scared, Mr. Stevens.
You were scared of what?
I was going to jail. I had just lost uncle, then my grandma is dying right now. So I really just trying to like, I ain't know what to do, really. I ain't know what to
well-
do.
You knew what to do. There was a warrant out for you. You knew what to do. It was a matter of time. I'm glad they didn't converge on the funeral and make a big scene at a funeral because you were absconding. Yes. These are responsibilities that you have to deal with more maturely. And we made a big deal about this when we placed you on regular probation. These were serious, and you were found guilty, so you knew that we were serious about it. You were placed on probation on February 7th, and then a year later, here you are with a new crime. Plus, it didn't take you long after you were put on probation that you walked off the job and quit reporting. You were. All right.
Judge, one other thing.
Yeah.
to Point out to the court.
Yeah.
As part of the probation orders that he is currently on probation for, there was a considerable amount of restitution. I'll point that out to you.
Okay, what's the amounts, please?
1,280.
Which case?
Actually, I think it's in both cases because it was ordered to be paid from one case and put on the order in the second case.
I don't, I don't. But I don't see it. It's
Yeah.
the,
Uh,
one case. Let me look at 1109. Nope, that's the new one. 36026.
I have an order here signed on May the 19th, 2022. In cause number 20-35415. Ordering the,
Wait, what cost? Oh, 35415.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
And it appears to be restitution from a misdemeanor. It's a 6-digit case.
Was that? I don't have. That in an order I signed. Within this probation order here. It's not in the probation order. It was. It's not in the judgment.
This was May the 19th, 2022, which was about a few months after he was originally placed on probation. I believe probably what happened, although I'm
Do
not
we have any
sure.
help on that? Anything we know?
No, sir, it's not even in his,
I'm not
two
sure.
records. Yeah, I'm not showing it either.
It may be in the misdemeanor case. I'm not sure I could order it anyway from an adjacent case. Man. There's my signature, huh?
And it appears to be this, one of these cases, Judge. I'm not,
Awesome. 6/3/22. Okay.
I believe that amount has not been paid. As far as-
Here's the file. Find that, please, in that file. Thank you. And was anything paid on that?
No, sir.
All right, well then, if nothing further, then I'm going to find that there is sufficient evidence supporting these motions to revoke probation, to grant them by a preponderance of the evidence or greater, as allegation number 3 is proven true.
I didn't have it in there, sorry, sir. It's not there.
In this motions to revoke probation in cause numbers 236027 and 235415. And in 23 CR 1109, I find that the defendant has pleaded guilty voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and there is sufficient evidence supporting that indictment beyond a reasonable doubt of all the elements of the crime. I hereby find the defendant guilty in 1109 of that 3rd-degree felony of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. In each of these 3 cases, the motions to revoke probation are hereby granted in 235415 and 36027. And I'm following this agreement that he, on those motions to revoke probation, where the defendant was placed on 10 years probation, you are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 7 years on each of those 2 cases. And in this new case, You were pleaded guilty voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. On this new case 1109, you were hereby found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I am following the agreement. You were hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 7 years. Each of these 3 cases shall run concurrently. Do you understand what has happened today? That is all. We are in recess. Thank you. All right, 8 cases are now called involving Juan Diaz. 2 of these cases are to be dismissed as part of an agreement. The defendant is going to be pleading to 6 of these. We will begin with 21-373-24. No. 37247, and then 37324, 23CR129, 23CR132, 23CR133, and 23CR153. Are you Jose Diaz?
Juan Diaz.
I'm sorry, you are Juan Diaz, present with your attorney, Mr. Matuska, and the state's attorney. Does the defendant waive formal readings of these indictments here? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
In summary, 37247. Okay. Are we just doing one paragraph on each of these?
Not a.
Not all.
Help me.
No, Your
here,
Honor.
Because all of these look like they're kind of different, and
Yes, Your Honor.
there's only 6 of them here. I can take them slowly, one at a time, I guess. In 37247, what are we doing on this one?
This is
Tell me.
it'll be the first 2 paragraphs, Your Honor. It'll be enhanced to a 2nd-degree felony, so it'll be 15 years is the agreement on it.
Is that right?
Sir.
Paragraph 1 alleges that on or about January 16th, 2021 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed a 3rd-degree felony of evading arrest or detention with the use of a motor vehicle. Do you understand what you're charged with there? Paragraph 2 goes on to allege that on January 21st, 2020, you were convicted of the felony of assault on a family member, a 3rd-degree felony. Paragraphs 1 and 2 constitute 2nd-degree felony punishment. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. This has 3rd-degree felony punishment. So y'all want me to change this to 2nd-degree felony? Is that
Yes,
what
Your
we're gonna
Honor.
do?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be here a while. Everybody get comfortable. It's got to be changed to correct it. You were looking at, if convicted here, sir, a term of not more than 20 years or less than 2 years in prison. In addition, a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand? These are trying to case. It'd be easier to try it. An agreement's been reached where you would be pleading guilty and sentenced to 15 years in prison to run concurrently with other cases. 2 cases would be dismissed here. Looks like 23CR130. Let's see. 23130 and 23CR131. Is that right?
That's correct.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal. Do you understand? How do you plead to paragraphs 1 and 2 of this indictment? Guilty or not guilty? Are you pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are guilty? Okay, so how do you plead to paragraph 1, guilty or not guilty, charging you with this 3rd-degree felony of evading arrest or detention with the use of a vehicle?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are guilty?
Yes.
2nd paragraph alleges you have this prior conviction of assault on a family member. Is that true and correct as it is alleged?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you pleading true and correct to that voluntarily and because it is true?
Yes, Your Honor.
We go to 21-37324.
And this is just the first paragraph, Your Honor. It's a 2nd-degree felony. It's 15 years.
In 37324, does the defendant waive a formal reading of this indictment and all the other indictments we're going to be pleading to today? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, Your Honor.
In summary, paragraph 1 of this indictment alleges that on or about January 16th, 2021 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the second-degree felony of illegal possession of a controlled substance, namely methamphetamine, which carries with it a term of not more than 20 years or less than 2 years in prison. In addition, a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand what you were charged with and the punishment range applicable?
Yes, Your Honor.
An agreement's been reached here where you would be pleading guilty, sentenced to 15 years in prison to run concurrently with other cases. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to this, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, we go to 23 CR 129. Does and in this case, in summary,
The first two paragraphs as well, Your Honor. It's a third degree felony
Okay.
enhanced to a second degree.
paragraph 1 alleges that on or about December 18th, 2022 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the third-degree felony of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle. Paragraph 2 goes on to allege that you have that prior assault on a family member January 20th, 2020 in this court. You understand what you're charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, these are all enhanced, which have to be redone. So how do you plead to paragraph 1, charging you with this third-degree felony, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are guilty.
Yes.
And paragraph 2, alleging this prior assault on a family member in January of 2020. Is that true and correct as it is alleged?
Yes.
Are you pleading true and correct to this voluntarily and because it is true?
Yes.
This means you were facing second-degree felony punishment, which means you're facing a term of not more than 20 years or less than 2 years in prison. In addition, a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. And furthermore, an agreement's been reached, you would be pleading guilty and sentenced to 15 years in prison to run concurrently with other cases. Is all of this true and correct?
Yes.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty and true voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and based upon advice by your attorney?
Yes.
Hold that one in abeyance as well. Let me go to the next. 23 CR 132 is next. In summary, paragraph 1 alleges that on or about January 14th, 2023 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the third-degree felony of escape. Paragraph 2 goes on to allege you have a prior conviction of assault on a family member. Are you pleading guilty and true to paragraphs 1 and 2 today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you doing that voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because those allegations are true as they are alleged?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand this is a third-degree felony enhanced to second-degree felony
Yes.
punishment. So you are facing no less than 2 nor more than 20 years
Yes, Your Honor.
confinement in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 can be assessed. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
An agreement's been reached in your case as well. You were looking at no less than 2 nor more than 20 years in prison and a fine up to $10,000. I believe we've mentioned that.
Yes.
An agreement's been reached. You would be pleading guilty to paragraphs 1, true to paragraph 2, and you would be sentenced to 15 years in prison to run concurrently with other cases. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
If I follow this, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes.
23 CR 133. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this indictment and arraignment? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, Your Honor.
Paragraph 1 alleges that you committed the third-degree felony of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle on or about January 14th, 2023 in Jefferson County, Texas. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
Paragraph 2 goes on to allege you have that prior assault on a family member conviction 2020 in this criminal district court. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
And Paragraphs 1 and 2 constitute a third-degree felony punished as a second-degree felony. Do you understand?
Yes.
Which means you're facing no less than 2 nor more than 20 years confinement in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 can be assessed. Do you understand?
Yes.
How do you plead to paragraphs 1 and 2? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are guilty?
Yes.
Paragraph 2, the prior conviction, is that true and correct as it is alleged, and are you pleading true and correct to that voluntarily?
Yes.
It's been reached here as well. You would be pleading guilty and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
If I follow this, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand? Go to 23 CR 154. In summary, paragraph 1 alleges that on or about January 14th, 2023 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the first-degree felony of bribery. Is that true? Is that what it?
It's a second degree, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
This is a mistake on this indictment?
It
It's the
should
caption
be.
says first-degree felony
I
bribery.
believe it's a second degree.
Is it? It is a second-degree felony, which carries with it no less than 2 nor more than 20 years confinement in prison and a fine not to exceed $10,000. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm changing the caption, correcting it in this day. Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
And again, in this case as well, you face no less than 2 nor more than 20 years confinement in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 can be assessed. And the agreement's been reached where you would be pleading guilty, sentenced to 15 years in prison to run concurrently with other cases. Is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to this indictment? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily and because you are guilty?
Yes.
I'm going to follow this agreement and the other agreements. You have no rights of appeal on any of these cases. Do you understand? Sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, those all fell at one time. I think that's it. All 6, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, in review, then, let's see. Pre-sentence reports waived.
Yes, sir.
Anything else to add? I'm going to follow these agreements and find in each of these cases, sir, you have pleaded guilty voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted in each of these cases. And I'm going to show you what's been marked and admitted as State's Exhibit 1. And I'm going to ask you, did you sign these documents?
Yes, sir.
Understand them, discuss them with your attorney, and is everything true and correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 1 is tendered into evidence in each of these cases.
No objection.
Without objection admitted. This states you are mentally competent to enter your pleas, which are freely and voluntarily made in each of these cases. You are totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. You know what you've been charged with. The indictment's been read to you. You read it in each of these cases. You were guilty of the crimes charged and any lesser included offenses. You were giving up your rights to a jury trial and the right to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses. All of this is true. It states, so help you God in each case.
Yes, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 1 in each case is made a part of the record. All right, if nothing further, I'm going to find you have pleaded guilty and true to paragraphs 1 and 2 respectively, which constitute third-degree felonies enhanced to second-degree felonies in 21-37247, 23 CR 129, 23 CR 132, 23 CR 133, and pleading guilty to the second-degree felonies alleged in 21-37324 and 23 CR 154. You have made these pleas voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. There was sufficient evidence supporting your pleas from State's Exhibit 1 admitted in each of these cases to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in each of these cases. I am following these agreements. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 15 years, in each case to run concurrently. And 2 cases, it looks like 23 CR 130 and 131 are to be dismissed as part of this agreement. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is done. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
That is all.
We're good, Judge. The other cases, he's received a year state jail on those matters.
I don't know what you're saying.
I was double checking. There's multiple. He appeared with Your Honor, I think on 6 cases, if I'm got the numbers right. We disposed of several state jails with a year state jail, and you placed him on probation for 10 years on the 3rd degree as one of the other years. So we've got an agreement to dispose of them accordingly, Your Honor.
Is there any restitution on any of this?
No, sir.
There wasn't. Tell me about these in probation, on the
Sir,
safety stuff,
yes, sir.
which is his big problem, that he completely and totally
Yes,
got
sir.
him into this. And
Yes,
then
sir.
he has quite naturally completely and totally failed on.
Yes, sir. When I first got hired in October 2022, I met Mr. Fairclough. He was unsuccessfully discharged from Zion Center. He came to report to the office, positive for meth. That was the only time he ever reported. After that, he absconded and disappeared. A few months later, they found him. He was offered an opportunity to go to safety relapse. Where he went to safety relapse, he went to the Cheyenne Center. While at the Cheyenne Center, he within the 2-month process, he turned up positive for meth. We were doing the ASR to get him approved for additional 30 days when he came up violation of contraband. The contraband involved was a cell phone with charger, tattoo gun, several pills, 9 batteries, broken metal spoons, red and black electrical tape. Before we can get the ASR authorized, Mr. Fairclough absconded again. So after he absconded again, he never called us, never contacted us. And the next time I saw him after he was arrested, I saw him in jail. And as I explained to him, we was in the prosecuting the ASR approved for another 30 days. You didn't give us a chance. You took off running again. So that's twice that Mr. Fairclough absconded from the program. Twice during the program, he turned up positive for drugs.
Anybody else want to add anything to that?
I think that his behavior is consistent with being addicted on drugs, and meth, as we all know, that's a driving drug. I mean, people get on that meth and it's hard to kick it.
Gee, I wonder who forced him to do that. Who put a gun to his head and made him
I think
become addicted to it? Or was it a series of bad choices? Of course it was. I mean, I don't feel sorry for him. You made a choice just like we all make choices. But we all know better. You do too. You just elected to take the dark side. You decided to dance with the devil. That's your choice. I'm not taking this deal. No, it's just bad. It just is a bad precedent, and he does what he did. That would,
Sir, if I could say something?
I'm not finished. Yeah. That would set a bad precedent for others who consistently failed after there's a ton of money spent in the programs that you wasted. There was a ton of time and effort that you wasted, but you didn't do it once, you did it twice, you did 3 times. You are consistent in misbehavior, and it was wrong. So most people do all right in the program, but what we do up here in this is to the people who like you did, which was thumb your nose at all the attempts to try to help you. The ironic thing is, it seems like others care more about your well-being and your life than you do. You quit caring a long time ago. You certainly don't care about others and doing the damage you did. And we had a chance to help you get sober on this. But yet, you have more than once fled from the help, because that's your choice. You chose to dance with the devil, and now you pay for it. There's a felony here, up to 10 years in prison in one case and up to 2 years in the state jail in the other. I'm just gonna set these for hearing on the motion to revoke probations. That's the best way to do it. I think.
May I, Judge?
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate it, Your Honor.
All right, get this, I want to set, no, I'm rejecting the plea. We're gonna get this set as soon as possible. This is all administrative. Let's
Yes,
get
sir.
this on a fast track.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. That is all.